Hello, my name is Alison and welcome to the IT Showcase interview. My guest today is Jonathan Smyth, Dynamics Product Specialist at Syscom plc. Jonathan has been involved in IT for over 12 years, firstly as a production planner and then as a production and commercial manager, where he first became involved in implementing ERP applications. Syscom plc has been established for 30 years and is a Microsoft Gold partner. They specialise in implementing ERP across a range of industries, including manufacturing, distribution, textiles and apparel companies. Welcome, Jonathan.
Thank you.
Can you start by simply defining the acronym ERP?
Sure. In absolute terms, the acronym ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. Essentially, an ERP system is a business application that helps to manage all areas of a business. So that could encompass finance, inventory, marketing, sales order processing and customer services. The key thing is that it is all controlled from one central integrated database.
So in your experience, Jonathan, at what point does a company normally recognise their need for an ERP system?
There isn't a hard and fast rule for when a company might recognise their need for a new ERP system, but it might be difficulty in actually doing business, lack of access to information for informed decision making, and perhaps it's slowing down the process of actually delivering the orders. A second example might be growth of the organisation. We have a client that currently has a compulsory land purchase on their specific site, so they're having to move because of a new bridge that's being built. Now, with the current systems that they have in place at the minute, this would mean that they would be working blind because the existing system doesn't support a multi-site operation. As an example, Microsoft Dynamics AX supports a multi-site operation, so they're better informed about the decision making and indeed the move between the two sites. And finally, another example might be a loss of competitive advantage. So we have a client that had to purchase one of our systems specifically to enter a marketplace with specific functionality for the management of wardrobes via the internet, rolling the system out to approximately 3,000 or 4,000 drivers. So this allowed them to penetrate a specific marketplace.
So what would you say were the key benefits a company could achieve from an ERP system, particularly while times are rough, although if people are to be believed we are maybe emerging from the recession, but can you just talk about those key benefits?
Sure, there are many benefits which might be realised by a company implementing a new ERP system. At the forefront of everybody's mind is cash flow management, managing costs within a business, perhaps reducing debtor days, because nobody wants to be hit, particularly at these times, with a bad debt. So they're typical things that people are looking for as an immediate benefit from a brand new ERP system, to facilitate really assured decision making so that they have the information to hand. In the longer term, organisations are looking to be more efficient, and a lot of the new ERP systems have lean processes inherently built within the application, which really help internal processes to be much more efficient. And as an example, a client of ours, Weirdfish, reduced their order turnaround time by 70%, and additionally reduced the time it takes to perform a stock take by 60%. So they're real tangible benefits that an organisation can achieve through the implementation of a brand new ERP system.
Now, I know there's a lot of discussion, and we find this with customers of iTSHOWCASE. A lot of thought goes into whether a company should actually buy a system off the shelf, so to speak, or actually build their own, because it really relies on their own particular business processes. Could you talk a little bit about whether to build or to buy?
Sure. There has been a tremendous amount of consolidation within the software market, and we are seeing the emergence of the big three. So we have SAP, Microsoft and Oracle. All of these applications have great functional depth, and the big question really is which of these big three is going to do the best job of integrating their line of business applications with software that you typically use on a day-to-day basis, your desktop applications. A recent Gartner study placed Microsoft Dynamics AX certainly as a leader in the ERP mid-market, which I think really speaks volumes in terms of the functional depth of that specific application. So back to your original question of whether a company should buy or build a brand new ERP application. Most of the big software vendors now offer great functional depth within their ERP applications. They are also heavily parameter driven, which means that you can configure the application to suit your specific business needs. So no longer do you have to change your business processes to match the application. You can tweak the application to run within your specific business parameters. Mm-hmm. Microsoft is so confident in their applications that they ship it with all of the business logic, and they also commit to support their applications for a minimum of 10 years, which is really paramount to their confidence in their applications.
So as a company, you've spent a lot of time and effort in selecting what you believe to be the right ERP system for your company. I'm going to limit you to 3, but I'd like to know what you feel are the 3 golden rules of implementing that ERP system.
The first of the 3 golden rules is to identify the strategic objectives of the company. So an example might be to reduce costs, perhaps to increase the transparency of the data so that you can make more informed decisions, or indeed to gain competitive advantage through the use of additional parts of functionality. It is very important to define the key metrics so that you can actually measure how you're performing against these strategic objectives. The second key point is to break down the implementation into bite-sized chunks so that you can build upon a solid foundation, so that you're breaking the project down into consumable chunks rather than trying to gild the lily from day one. Mm-hmm. This gives you a far greater chance of success by having specific deliverables rather than one great big project. Mm-hmm. The third golden rule, taking the specific deliverables that we talked about just a second ago, is to assign specific responsibility for the delivery of those specific tasks to individuals within the business. Mm-hmm. Because breaking this down into bite-sized chunks gives you a greater chance of success when you're actually delivering those things. At Syscom, we utilise the Microsoft SureStep methodology, which gives us a great framework for implementing the applications. And it uses best practice within the IT implementation framework to make sure that you get maximum benefit from your investment.
Jonathan, you mentioned in your golden rules the importance of setting metrics. Can you just explain a little bit more about what common metrics are used to determine system success or return on investment?
This is really dependent upon the individual client.
Yes.
But the expectations should be aligned with the strategic objectives of the organisation. So, for example, we could be looking at improving cost control, improved visibility of the supply chain so that you can offer a better performance level to your customers, and perhaps reductions in running costs. Yes. Because a lot of these legacy applications are tremendously expensive to run on an annual basis.
My final question for you, Jonathan, is how does a company ensure that their ERP package will be able to adapt in changes that occur to their business, particularly as the business climate seems to change far more rapidly nowadays than perhaps in years gone by? So how can you ensure that the system will be able to adapt to you?
Sure. One of the key considerations when selecting an ERP application, or indeed a partner to help you implement, is that you have the confidence that that partner will still be running their business in 10 to 15 years' time. Yeah. It's reasonable to conclude that Microsoft will still be here in the next 10 to 15 years. So I think that's a fairly safe gamble. Another very important consideration is that your selected partner has a clearly defined statement of direction, and also that they understand your marketplace, so that they can foresee perhaps changes, regulatory changes within your marketplace. Again, referring to Microsoft, they have a research and development budget which is $9.6 billion. I think we can all draw some pretty stark conclusions for that in terms of the longevity of their product lines. A final point really is to develop very close working relationships with your chosen implementation partner, such as Syscom. Because we have an understanding of your marketplace, and we will ensure that any changes that are on the horizon, we can help you adapt to very, very quickly and easily. This is essential if you plan to continually innovate and grow your business through the exploitation of information technology.
Thank you, Jonathan. I've been Alison Jones, and that was the latest IT Showcase interview. Hope you found it useful and hope you join me again.